It is.
Sure, all the microphones go behind the sign.
Hi, lads.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to St James's Park ahead of tomorrow's match against PSV Eindhoven. If you have a question, please get my attention and we'll come to as many of you as we possibly can. If you need translation, there should be headsets available for you as well. Who wants to get us started, please? Keith. Yeah.
Hi, Eddie. Good to see you.
Hi, Keith.
You've reached the business end of the group stage in the Champions League. Some terrific nights. Given your schedule, how important would it be for you to try and get one of those top 8 places and stop yourself having to play in the playoffs?
Yeah, it'd be nice, but I think that we just relish the games, the 2 games that we have to come. I think the best way to sort of answer that question is to try and win the next 2 games in front of us, and starting with tomorrow's game, which is a great game for us, really magical game, I think. Very good team. Been very impressed with all the research we've done on them and how they've been playing and the recent results. So it's set up to be a great game, I think.
How are you looking injury-wise? We saw Dan Burn in training this morning. I think on Friday you said he was back running. It looked like he was doing a bit of ball work. Is there any chance of either him or Will Asula for this game tomorrow? Making
really good progress, Dan. We anticipated sort of the journey back that he's had. He's pretty much stuck to the timelines we expected. He won't make tomorrow. It's too early. Same with Will Asula. Today was their first days with the team, or first day with the team, should I say, but hopefully not too far away.
Thank you. If we can give the mic to Luke Edwards, please. Thank you.
Hi. It's been a slightly strange season in many respects across the Premier League, but I saw an interesting stat that I think since the last international break, you've actually taken 21 points, which puts you 3rd in the form table. Does that put things into context a little bit of how well you're doing this season, or in this period?
Yeah, I think I've said many times, and people just always raise their eyebrows when I start talking, generally anyway. But I think since that international break that you mentioned, the Manchester City game, I think being the first game after the break, I've seen an upturn in performances generally. I think we've been much more consistent since that break. In that break we did a lot of work. Probably the only time we've been able to train in recent months. I was really pleased with the response of the players, how they focused on the things that we identified that we needed to improve. Yeah, we've not been perfect. There's been the odd game here and there where we haven't performed to the level that we want to, but generally much better, much more like ourselves, scoring goals again. So yeah, I've been pretty pleased. I think the challenge for us is now to maintain that.
Thank you. Lee Ryder.
Eddie, this game always brings back sort of memories of Sir Bobby Robson. How important is it to talk about the values that he brings to the club? Because I know you've got the portrait at the training ground when you walk in every morning. So could you just talk a little bit about those values that you like to maintain?
Yeah, well aware of the history with Sir Bobby, and we were before the Barcelona game as well. I think the values that he stood for: hard work, good organisation, always going to the end, never giving up, trying to do the crowd justice, representing the club in the right way. I think these are all values that he stood for, and he wanted teams to fully commit to the crowd and to give everything on a match day, and that's what we're going to try and do. We've been trying to live by those principles from day one since I arrived here, very similar to Kevin Keegan's principles as well, and he was maybe more expansive in his way of playing and really wanted to attack, and we're trying to live by those principles. So I think that's what the crowd want to see.
And I just quickly check as well, there's talk in Brazil about Newcastle have made some kind of approach for Ryan, who's been linked with Bournemouth as well. Can I just check if there's any truth in that?
There's no truth in that.
Thank you. George Calkin, please.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, George.
We're speaking to Sven after you, and just on his contract, he's obviously a very important player in his own right, so it's good news in its own right. But just after what happened with Alex in the summer, how important was it, or how important is it that a big player has committed himself to the club, to the project, not just to you, but for the fans, for the club in general, and the dressing room?
Yeah, I think it's really important that when we enter those negotiations, the players that you're discussing terms with have a good feel for their football club, for us that work with them every day, for the supporters, for the ownership, that they feel this is the right place for them to continue their development and their journey. Really pleased that Sven feels that way about the football club. I think it's been a tough few months for him. Difficult injury problems, setbacks. He's had to show real strength of character because he's someone that always wants to play. He's desperate to help the team. He's very ambitious, determined. He's got great qualities as well, and I think we really, really missed him. And it took us a long time to adjust to being without him. So then to get him back was a massive lift, and I think now we're seeing the very early signs of him returning to his best level. So hopefully that can stay the same for many years to come.
Okay, we'll go to Craig Hope and then next to you as well, Craig, please.
Hi Eddie, the expanded format has been derided to a degree because of the number of teams that go through, because you have got that safety net. But as a coach, can you just tell us what the difference is between the top 8 and not being in the top 8? How big an incentive is that to get in there?
Yeah, it's a massive incentive because it means less games in a season when we're being stretched physically, mentally. It's a big demand on us, so we could. The priority is to qualify. However we do that, whether that's extra games, whether that's in the top 8, is obviously our wish. So we're striving with every game to maximise what we can deliver. I think, the Marseille game sort of still hurts us a little bit because we were in a really strong position in that game, and it was I thought a decent performance, and we could look back on those types of games with a little bit of regret, but not in terms of effort and endeavour to try and qualify. And we've got 2 games. Look, we need to, as I said earlier, commit to every game and try and win every game and see where it takes us.
Thank you.
This is Dutch TV. Hello.
Hi.
What are your views on PSV? They, of course, won against Liverpool just 2 months ago.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good coach. Really good team to watch, I think. I've enjoyed planning the game. Very expansive. Like to build from the back. They've got some ideas that are slightly different, which I always enjoy, watching something that's slightly out of the ordinary. But they impressed me. I mean, watching the games against Liverpool, as you say, I thought they were very strong that night, and then Atletico Madrid, I thought they were outstanding and really unlucky not to win. So I think that's the level of team we're playing against. Always a strong team in Europe anyway, historically, so we'd be ready for a good game.
Thank you. The gentleman back row on the inside, please. Yeah.
Hello, Eddie.
Hi.
Good afternoon. This is Bennett van Vesten from the Dutch media as well. I was wondering, how would you describe the development of Sven Botman and how important is he for your team?
Yeah, I think Sven, when he first came to the club, was a sort of an instant hit with us. Pretty much came into the team straight away. I think it took him sort of 7-8 games to break through. But his early form in that first season was magnificent. I think he was part of a back four that conceded very few goals, part of a team that suffered very few defeats. So I think he adapted to life in the Premier League very quickly. Unfortunately, we've lost him for a period of time due to injury, and that's been the hardest part of his time here. But we're delighted to have him back now, and hopefully he can get back to the form of when he was at his very best, because for me, when he was at that level, he was one of the best defenders in the Premier League without a doubt.
Okay, we'll go to Daniel, Martin and then Scott, please.
Excuse me, Eddie. Building on the previous question, despite the inconsistencies this season, some of the performances that haven't been to your sort of standard, is your narrative the one you would want to project that you are still just a couple of points away from the top 5, you're within touching distance of getting through to the next stage in Europe, and domestic cup-wise, you're still within a shout there, and that actually the end to this season can be as positive as other ones have been as well?
Yeah, I've said many times I'm glass half full. I think at this stage of the season, with everything that's ahead of us, we have to be very, very positive. Of course, this is a key month, and I've said that right at the beginning of it, in terms of our Premier League form, which has been good to this point. We're still in the FA Cup, and now we enter 2 really huge games in the Premier League Champions League. So I think these next 2 games obviously will dictate a lot. I think this first game being at home, big onus, on us to attack the game, to try and get the result we need to put us in a much better place. That's the only focus in my brain right now. So yeah, I think we know this is going to be a big one.
Martin Hardy, please. Sorry. Thank you.
Hi, Eddie. Goals have come easier in the Champions League this season than the Premier League. Is there a reason for that?
No, I don't know. Sometimes these things happen. I think we've done well in certain games in the Champions League. I don't know. I think you can see from the players there's a real stimulation about these games. There's a real focus. You can see it from the training and the preparation, but you can also just see it from the body language of the players. I think they really want to do well in every competition, but I think there's a special feeling about this for obvious reasons. So I think that plays a part. I think we have some really good attacking players, and I think some of the games have suited us in terms of playing really high intensity games, and with the atmosphere here has really helped us as well. So I think there's a few conditions that we hope will line up in our favour, and this will be similar. Home game, we want a really good atmosphere. We want the players athletically to feel really good, and hopefully the combination of that and the crowd can make it a really positive night for us.
Thank you. Go to Scott Wilson and then to Dominic Skerr, please.
Hi, Eddie. You're obviously a very different team to the team that didn't make it through 2 seasons ago. We know the changes that have happened since then. Do you think you're a better team now, or do you think that you're a team that's still kind of learning its way and growing, given that it is different and it has had to change?
I don't know. I don't tend to necessarily directly compare the two teams. You're asking me to do so. I'd say we're different. I don't know whether we're better or worse. That's really difficult to judge. Certainly, there's been a changeover of some of the personnel. And that's made us the team that we are today, in the sense that some of the individuals are slightly different in their profile. I think we're very effective. When we're at our best, I think we're a highly effective team. And I think we've always been that way, even 2 years ago, in a sense that we're not necessarily looking for a team that dominates possession, but we want to be effective when we do have it. We want to be incisive, and we want to be creating chances. And I think that's been much better overall in recent weeks. Defensively, we've been really solid at times this season. Not sort of the whole time, over the whole piece of the season. We've had moments of fragility. But hopefully we're building that back up again with the clean sheet at the weekend. So, very different team, but one that I think is growing to get better.
Okay, we'll try and squeeze 3 more, and we'll start with Dominic. We'll go to Mark Douglas and Kieran Kelly to finish, please.
Hi, Eddie. With less than 2 weeks left of the transfer window, is Dan Burn, Willis Hula returning after a decent period out as close as we'll get to new signings bolstering the squad this month?
I don't know. Certainly they will feel like new signings for us, especially Dan, because there's a real positional need there. And that's not a slight on Willis Asula at all. We're delighted to have him back in training. He's going to be a big player for us. But Dan's return, with being so light in that position, is a huge lift. If we can keep him fit and feeling good, he will be like a new signing. But yeah, there's still time, and it's still relatively unknown in terms of what direction we will take.
Thank you. Mark?
Anthony Gordon, somebody who said he kind of lives for this stage. What have you made of his season so far, and are you looking to him in these next 2 Champions League games to kind of continue his form in this competition?
Yeah, we're looking for every player to really step up in these kind of games, and that's what I said after the Wolves game. We were looking for someone to really try and grab that game and make the difference and find a way to score to win us that match, and that's sometimes what you're looking for, the individual attacking players that can really make the difference. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for us. But yeah, we want all the attacking players to rise to this occasion. Anthony, I think, has had some really high points of this season, mainly in the Champions League. So yeah, he's a big player for us.
Thank you. Last one, Kieran, please.
Just on a similar theme, whoever plays up front, what do you think is the key to getting more out of Nick or indeed Johan?
Well, I think there's an individual expectation that they have to max out on the pitch and give their all. I think if they do that, they've both got standout qualities that will help us, whichever one we pick, as you say. So I think all we can ask from them is they give their absolute all for the team. And then, of course, the team needs to create moments for them to hopefully decide the game.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Short and sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Deze afstanding. Ja, kun je het zelf zo snel.
Nee, dit was al goed.
All right, guys, we've got about 15 minutes with Sven. Catch my eye if you want to ask a question. We will start with Keith Downey, please.
Hi Sven, good to see you.
Hello.
We've not spoken to you since you signed your new deal. I think last week was it?
Mm-hmm.
What's the thinking behind committing to Newcastle United, and what is your peak years? You're 26 now for the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, I definitely feel like I have a lot to give still, and I also think this club has huge potential. Like I said before, I just love to be part of it. Love to achieve great success with the club and with myself as well. So yeah, that was the main thing really.
You've obviously the last sort of year or two had your injury problems, and obviously I'm guessing it's been a pretty frustrating time for you. We just spoke to the manager there, who says that we're seeing the very early signs of Sven being back to his best. Are you confident we're going to get back to seeing the Sven Botman that we saw 2 years ago in that brilliant defence that hardly conceded any goals?
Yeah, that's definitely where I'm striving of. I think we had a great first season as well as a defence, like you said. That's just something what I admired all my time when I'm a defender, to have clean sheets, and yeah, it's definitely something I want to achieve more. And yeah, like I said, with the injuries was a difficult time. Even when I came back from my ACL, I played a few games and then had another injury. So yeah, it was a difficult sort of 2 years for me. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting back to like full fitness, getting back to great form, and most importantly, just be fit and playing games and enjoying that.
We'll go to Lee Ryder, please, then George Colkin.
Hi, Sven. Just on coming back from injury, I mean, obviously you've had some low moments. How much joy do you get now when you're stepping out on the pitch for a game like this and hearing that Champions League music against a Dutch team as well? Yeah, loads. I mean, the time you're injured, everything you think about is just coming back, playing on the pitch again in front of these fans and in this stadium, and it always gives you a great feeling, an amazing feeling that you're playing with such a high stage, and it's never nice to be injured, but like I said, it's in the past now. I'm looking forward to what's coming and starting off tomorrow. Yeah.
George and the lady next to George.
Hi, Sven.
Hi.
What is it specifically about what's happening here that you want to be part of, and what do you think you can achieve over the course of your contract?
Well, I think the moment when I stepped to these doors, 3.5 years ago, if you look at that sort of moment, what we achieved now in the last couple of years, I think this club is just growing every year. Achieved already great things, I think, but we definitely want to have more. The trophy was really nice last season, and we definitely want to have more trophies, and we definitely setting a goal for ourselves to be in the Champions League spots every single season, and that's what we aim for. I think with the group we're having, there should be what we're achieving every season, and I just think from what we achieved in the last couple of years, with the years coming, just looking forward for that, and like I said, looking also forward to be part of that.
Hi Sven, dit is Eline van NOS. Goeiedag. Je trainer noemde je net in vorm een van de beste verdedigers van de Premier League. Hoe ben jij hier gegroeid en wat maakt dat deze club zo goed bij jou past?
Ik denk dat sowieso de Premier League heel erg fysiek is. En sowieso het beste en het uiterste vraagt van elke speler. Het gaat op ontzettend hoog tempo. En ik denk dat dat gewoon goed bij mij past. En zeker deze club, we spelen heel aanvallend voetbal. En ik hou gewoon ik hou ervan om de bal te hebben. En ik denk dat we met dit team en deze trainer heel aanvallend voetbal spelen. En dat tactisch gezien en hoe deze club in elkaar zit, dat het gewoon goed bij mij past.
Morgen tegen PSV, Nederlandse club natuurlijk. Er zitten ook nog wel wat jongens bij die je kent, geloof ik, hè?
Ja, ik heb met een aantal jongens zeker een aantal wedstrijden samengespeeld. En ik denk Joey Veerman, een van mijn beste vrienden, die zeker leuk om tegen te spelen.
Ja, ik zat even te googlen. Ik kwam uit bij de Kip Kerrygate onder andere, 2023.
Oh mijn god. Dat was bij Nederland zelf, hè?
Ja.
Dat was zo'n een raar weekje voor ons. We werden toen allebei heel erg ziek dat we bij Nederland zelf zaten. Dat is niet top, nee. Maar
Morgen dus weer een weerzien. En over Oranje gesproken, ik vroeg me ook nog af, is dat ook nog een moment voor jou morgen om je weer misschien wel even te laten zien, ook aan de bondscoach, met het oog op het WK van komende zomer?
Ik denk dat hij heel veel of genoeg wedstrijden kijkt. Het zal niet allemaal afhangen van morgen, maar het is zeker iets wat heel mooi zou zijn om daar weer bij te komen. Ja, alleen op het moment ben ik gewoon puur gefocust op de club en ben ik weer blij dat ik fit ben en weer lekker aan het spelen ben. En uiteindelijk ben ik wel een gelover dat als je gewoon lekker in je vel zit en dat soort dingen wel weer komen. Ja.
Wat wil je morgen laten zien tegen PSV?
Ja, ik denk dat het belangrijkste is dat we winnen. Dat is het belangrijkste. En natuurlijk hopen we dat op een mooie manier te doen, maar winnen is het belangrijkste.
Craig, Daniel Wales and Martin Hardy, please.
Hi, Sven. It's two questions on the same subject. Are you surprised you haven't been capped by Holland or Netherlands so far? And what have you got to do to change that?
Well, of course, I definitely had a difficult spell with my injuries. I think I had a good moment before that. I was in the squad a few times. Didn't play, of course. It's a big name in front of me on that position. But like I said, at the moment I'm just focusing on the club, focusing on me enjoying the football, staying fit, getting as most of games as possible. And like I said, I'm a believer when you're in good shape, and these things will come.
Is there any chance for the World Cup?
Of course, there's a chance.
Daniel, then Martin, please.
Sven, what potential did you first see when you came to this club, and how much has that changed and grown in your time here since?
I definitely think the first season what we achieved with the Champions League was a bit, I wouldn't say overperformed, but I wasn't expecting already a top 4 place. I think that season kind of set us up for the seasons after that. And I think the team is getting better, the club is getting bigger, the standards are getting higher, and I think that's growing every season. And that's why I also think this club is gonna grow even more and achieve great things.
And despite the frustrations you've had with some of your own injuries, how much have you developed in yourself and within your own defensive capabilities in the time you've been here?
A lot. I think in the Premier League you're seeing the best sort of strikers, the best teams, and there's no way one game is an easy game here. You have to be at your best all the time, and you're getting exposed all the time, and that's what's make you a better player.
Martin and the gentleman on the back row, please.
Hi, Sven. You train regularly with Johan Wieser and Nick Woltemade. How good are they, and is the best still to come for both players?
Yeah, they're both great players. Yes, the best still to come. I think yes, because every player is growing here as a player, and they both need to get adapt to the tactics, to how we play, and the team has to adapt to them as well. Doesn't take just a few days or a few weeks, but we definitely see some great things of both players.
Hi Sven, gefeliciteerd nog met je contractverlenging. Je omschrijft Joey Veerman als een van je beste vrienden. Dan is hij vast wel in de lijnen gekomen.
In de lijnen
gekomen?
Ja, zeker weten.
Wat heeft hij gezegd?
Nou, je kent hem al een beetje, toch? Hij heeft geen blad voor de mond dat hij wel weer durft te zeggen dat hij je makkelijk gaat winnen.
Dat PSV 3 punten op kan halen?
Ja, dat zegt hij wel, hè.
Ja. Ben je al iets wijzer ook geworden van PSV tegenover wie je bijvoorbeeld morgenavond staat?
Ja, we weten zeker wat ons te doen staat. En ik heb zeker een paar vragen gekregen van spelers ook wat PSV voor team is. En we hebben natuurlijk ook allemaal de wedstrijd gezien tegen Liverpool. We weten allemaal dat ze in hele goede vorm zijn dit seizoen weer. In de competitie, in de Champions League ook mooie dingen laten zien. Dus we moeten zeker op ons best zijn om te kunnen winnen morgen.
Ja, zoals eerder gezegd, je trainer omschrijf je als een van de beste verdedigers van de Premier League op het moment dat je op je best bent. De concurrentie bij het Nederlands elftal is natuurlijk moordend als je kijkt al wat voor Nederlandse verdedigers hier met Ake, Timber, Van Dijk in de Premier League spelen. Ja. Hoe kijk jij naar die concurrentiestrijd dan richting komende zomer?
Ja, ik ben er niet te veel mee bezig. Wat ik al eerder zei, ik ben op dit moment gewoon lekker bezig om lekker veel wedstrijden te spelen, goed fit te zijn en te blijven. En ja, dat is iets wat achter in je hoofd af en toe meespeelt. En ik heb er zelf geloof in dat ik daar thuis hoor. Maar ik snap ook dat ik natuurlijk in de afgelopen tijd veel geblesseerd ben geweest. En dat er heel veel goede spelers zijn op dit moment in de verdediging. En dat is aan mij uiteindelijk om te laten zien dat ik daar meer thuis hoor dan misschien anderen. Dat is volledig aan mezelf en daar leg ik niet te veel druk op en daar ben ik ook niet te veel mee bezig.
Can we, gentleman on the back there, then Kieran Kelly, please.
Hoi, goedemiddag Sven.
Hoi.
Een tijd geleden dat we jou ook in Nederland hebben zien spelen. Volg je de Eredivisie nog een beetje en hoe kijk je naar de huidige dominantie van PSV daarin?
Ik kijk niet extreem veel Nederlands voetbal meer. Maar je krijgt inderdaad wel een en ander mee. Je weet dat PSV een uitstekend seizoen draait en dat dat ze stijf bovenaan staan. Spelen goed voetbal en wat ik al eerder zei, we moeten op ons best mogen zijn om daar tegen te winnen.
Kijk je daar toch een beetje van op? Want toen jij Nederland verliet waren de verhoudingen wel een stuk anders.
Ja, van opkijken. Er zijn wel wat dingen veranderd in de tussentijd, ja, maar dat is ook al, 5-6 jaar geleden. Uiteindelijk blijf ik een Ajax-jongen en hoop ik natuurlijk dat Ajax weer terug gaat naar de plek waar het hoort. Maar dat is op dit moment even niet, maar dat terzijde. PSV doet het geweldig en wordt een mooie wedstrijd morgen.
Dankjewel.
Kieran, Gary, and then Scott's finish, please.
Hi Sven, we know how strong Newcastle are at home. What do you think has been the difference away from home this season?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell. You ask yourself as well and your teammates. The results definitely haven't been great away from home this season, and we definitely want to change that. It's hard to put a finger on what really the reason is. I think we need to just have a better level away from home, be more consistent, and we don't want to be a team that's only going to be good at home.
Gary?
Hi Sven. Given it's January, every day there's talk about transfers, etc. We know about PSR issues. Do the squad feel that they could benefit from a new face this month, or is there enough here in the squad to still enjoy a really, really good end to the season without any new additions?
I think we have a really good squad. Of course, we had some problems with injuries, especially in defense. But I think when everybody is fit, we have a really strong squad. I don't see any reason why maybe there's behind the scenes or maybe not. But me, myself, I don't see any reason why we have to sign now a new player.
Scott's finish, please.
you mentioned the defensive injuries there, Sven. How difficult has it been to be a Newcastle defender this season? Because it seems like every game it's been a different back four. Every time we've spoke to Eddie, it seems to be a different defender that's been out or injured or unavailable. How tough has that made it to be part of this defence this season?
Well, I think we used to each other, so at the end, who is the back four doesn't really matter in terms of relationship. But yeah, sometimes in terms of load, fitness, can be difficult for some players in certain moments. But yeah, sometimes it's not ideal, but we're all proud and happy to play for this club, and we just give it all.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.